So, Rochelle, try to do the YouTube.
Got you.
Mind the business that pays you. Yeah. Our people walk in power, we gon' glow up. No fear, no doubt, we gon' show up. Set your boundaries, shine bright, no fright. Unapologetic, we fight for what's right. Family keeper, that's a state of mind. Power protection all by design. Family keeper, we rise, we shine. Power protection all by design. Mind the business that pays you.
Hey, welcome back, Mindsetters. I'm Monique Danielle Harrell, the CEO of Singleton Builders, and you are tuned into Mind the Business That Pays You, where we have conversations with entrepreneurs about building legacy and assets.
And I'm Rochelle B. Gray, down here in sunny Charlotte today. Well, it was a little chilly, but that's okay. I am the CEO of Power Lead Nation and the Genius Grid.
Well, guess what? It's nice in Jersey today, too. I
bet
believe
it
it's,
was.
72, Marlo? What was it?
I'm so happy for y'all.
Yes, we're happy for us as well because, I can't take the bipolar weather. One week we have 87. The next week we're kind of like at 40 degrees. We got to turn our heat on. Really, but I love Jersey. I'm going to always rep my Jersey.
I ain't lying. I always love Jersey, too.
Well, we have a powerful guest today. You have to make sure you stay tuned. Our powerful house guest today is Donna Lee Reed. Our topic is what happens when foster kids age out and no one is there. So make sure you stay tuned for that. That is going to be a powerful conversation. Her backstory is powerful. So stay tuned. We'll be back with that in a few minutes. And if our conversations align with your business mindset, make sure you subscribe to our channel. The link is in the description below. So let's get into our CEO check-in. Today, my CEO check-in is on dual citizenship. Why smart entrepreneurs are getting a second passport. Dual citizenship isn't about travel, it's about leverage. So I'm going to go over 3 pros and cons about dual citizenship. The first one is wealth and strategy. The pros: you can position your income in more favorable tax environments and access international banking systems. Smart entrepreneurs don't just make money, they protect it and position it. Now, there are cons to that as well. First one, tax laws. Reporting requirements and legal structures can get complicated real fast when you are overseas. The second con is if you don't have the right team, you can lose money just trying to save money. So make sure you know the difference when you're building wealth and strategy under a dual citizenship. The second point I'm going to give you about dual citizenship is mindset. It forces you to think beyond your zip code and operate like a global instead of a local hustler. When your mindset expands, your opportunities expand. The cons to that is this level of thinking requires discipline, research, and stepping out of your comfort zone. Most of us are comfortable. We know where we are. We know the laws. But if you want to really expand, sometimes you have to step out of your comfort zone. And the next con is everybody wants global access, but not everybody wants global responsibility. So, again, my CEO topic is on dual citizenship. And my third point is on real estate, of course. The pros are some countries offer lower property costs and even residency or citizenship through investment. We all know about, some people know about that. The next one is your next property might not be in your city. It might be in another country. Again, that's expansion when you have dual citizenship. The pros to that are, the cons to that is managing property overseas With risk, it comes with a lot of risks, laws, market differences, and lack of control because you're not in that country. You may have a management company or somebody, but you're not there when you really need to be there to handle a problem. And the next one is, if you don't understand the market, distance can cost you a lot of money. You might have to start flying back and forth, different things. So there are pros and cons to having dual citizenship. Bottom line is this: citizenship is not just identity, it's strategy. If you want another strategy, that's another avenue you could take if you want to try to, broaden your horizon. And the question is, are you building your life in one system or positioning yourself to win in multiple systems? So it matters who you are, what you can do, who's on your team, and if you have money put aside to travel back and forth. Dual citizenship is great. Just know what you're doing when you get into it. Again, I'm Monique Danielle Harrell, CEO of Singleton Builders. Check me out on singletonbuildersllc.com. You are watching Mind the Business That Pays You podcast.
Okay, girl. I love that, though. That's a
Yeah.
real boss. And some of us were looking at that. One of my friends went on vacation.
Right.
And the man told her, for what you spent on vacation, you could have bought a house and land.
I mean,
What you
it's
spent for a
true.
week. And I was like, whoa.
You just have to make sure you have the right team over there that you trust,
Right.
or some
Right.
money put aside to start traveling back and forth to make sure
That's
you
true.
take care of your investment, because it is good. And then,
Yeah.
there are some cons
It can
to
go
it.
south. Yeah.
Real quick.
All right. Well, again, we giving people, opportunities to see something different.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, my CEO check-in is personal tonight, and it's the risk of not starting. I want to speak. First of all, I can't. I don't have my glasses, but so my eyes look like slants. I want to speak to the person in the room who has been thinking about being an entrepreneur, but isn't sure. This is personal to me. I was in a doctoral program, and I was fearful about letting anyone know. And I told myself it was because I didn't want the pressure. But the truth, I didn't want anyone to know in case I failed. And I'm going to read that again. I almost didn't start.
Wow.
Not because I wasn't capable, but because I was trying to protect myself from the possibility of failure. I even questioned if I should go backward. I thought maybe I should just get another master's degree instead.
Wow.
That's what fear will do. It will dress itself up as logic. It will make you downgrade your calling and then call it being practical.
Wow.
But then my pastor mentor, who was on the show, Dr. Wood, said something that shifted everything. He said, you don't need another master's. Go for the doctorate. And just like that, my journey began. And now here I am on May 2nd.
Yes.
Graduating with a doctorate in theology, Christian leadership and administration.
Look, I'm
Let
doing
me
the
be
regular
clear
clap.
with you. It's not just
I
a
know.
degree. This is what happens when you stop negotiating with fear. Now let's bring this to you. There are some of you listening right now. You've been sitting on an idea, a business, a program, a solution to a real problem. Some of you are social entrepreneurs. You see gaps, like our guest did, in your community, and you feel called to fill them, but you're hesitating. You're saying, I need more time. I need another certification. I need to be more prepared. No. What you're really saying is, what if I fail and people see it? Let me challenge that thinking. The real failure is not starting. Because when you don't start, your idea never serves the people it was meant to help.
That's right.
Your voice never reaches the room it was assigned to impact. And someone less qualified, but more willing, steps in to fill the space that was meant for you. And that's the cost.
Right.
So here's your CEO strategy for the day. Number one, identify your genius. You're not random. Your strengths are clues. Stop overlooking what comes naturally to you. Number two, get the right counsel. Not everyone deserves access to your vision. You need voices that challenge you, like Monique did to me, not comfort your fear. Number three, move before you feel ready. Clarity comes from action, not overthinking. And that's where I had to really hone in on. And last, number 4, build accountability around you. Isolation will keep you stuck. Structure with the right people will move you forward.
That's right.
So let me say this plainly. I didn't wait until I was fearless. I moved while I was afraid. And that made all the difference. So my call to action, if you're serious about moving forward, don't just sit with this moment. Go to CEORochelle.com.
I know that.
Take the multiple intelligence assessment. Let's identify your genius. Let's build your strategy. And let's put accountability into place so you don't quit on yourself.
That's right.
You don't have to figure this out alone, but you do have to make a decision. Are you going to keep protecting yourself from failure, or are you finally ready to step in what you were called to build?
All right.
And if you love what we are saying up in here, go subscribe and take your friends to Mind the Business That Pays You, because we are really helping.
Absolutely.
Ask the people in Germany and Canada and Ghana and the UK and France and all 13 countries we're in right now. Woo!
Woo woo.
I dropped my mic.
You forgot your name. You are.
I am Rochelle V. Gray, CEO. See, you want me to go ahead and say Dr. Gray?
Yes, I want you to give your title now, as of a couple of days ago, please. Thank you.
And one of my pastors, he really clunked me on the head. That's right. He was like, we don't move in fear. You studied to show yourself approved under who? I said, God. He was like, you're Dr. Gray. I was like, praise God.
Say your name. What's your title? Who are you? And
Dr. Rochelle V. Gray. Thank you for pushing.
I am so proud of you. That is Dr. Rochelle V. Gray from
and
here
people
on
like, right
out.
Now, what?
Yes, I love it. Like she said, guys, you have to stay in the race. You have to keep your head up. You have to keep pushing. You have to stay on go. Whatever naysayers are there, that's great. Just keep on pushing and don't look in your rearview mirror. Just keep it moving. Keep it moving. So stay tuned. We have a powerful guest coming up. Her name is Donna Lee Reed. And our topic is what happened when foster kids age out and no one is there. Stay tuned. We'll be back.
Yeah, keep it positive. Filtering out the negative, that's how I live. Good vibes only in my space today. Good vibes only, that's my way. Energy protection activated. Good vibes only in my circle, in my atmosphere. Good vibes only, making it clear that I'm choosing positivity in everything I do. Good vibes only through and through. No room for drama, negativity, or bad energy. Good vibes only, setting me free to enjoy this life without the weight of toxic things. Good vibes only, hear me sing about the beauty of protecting my precious peace of mind. Good vibes only, you will find me in spaces that uplift and inspire my soul. Good vibes only, that's my goal. Surrounding myself with people who support and celebrate. Good vibes only, feeling great. This is not about being fake or ignoring what is real. Good vibes only, how I feel is important and yeah, keep it positive.
Mindset.
Before we start, I got a mindset of saying proud of you. I'm like, thank you, Jesse Haley Campbell.
That is so nice. And we are proud of you here at Mind the Business That Pays You podcast.
Thank you.
Very proud of you again. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
Mindsetters, we have a powerful guest in the house tonight. Her name is Donna Lee Reed. Let me give you a little background. Okay. Donna Lee Reed is a sought-after keynote motivational and inspirational speaker, preacher, and as a former foster youth, she transformed adversity into purpose, becoming an entrepreneur, author, and national advocate for young people aging out of foster care. Through her work, including a historic HBCU partnership, Donna empowers others to rise with faith, resilience, and action. Donna Lee Reed named top 5 remarkable women 2024 in the country out of 10,000 nominees. Ooh. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm so happy to be here. Thank
We
you
are happy
all
to
so
have you.
much.
Yeah,
Yes, you are phenomenal. How are you
he is.
today?
He is.
I am fantastic. And again, just honored to be here and so proud of what you all are doing.
Oh,
Thank
thank you so
you.
much. Listen, we want the mindsetters. We want you to start letting the mindsetters know a little bit of your backstory. It says that you were a former foster care child yourself. Can you give us a little bit of background on that, please?
Absolutely. So my biological mother left me in the hospital when I was born.
Whoa.
She said she was coming back. And I have to say it this way, thank God she did not.
Wow.
They placed me in several white homes thinking that I was white until they would find out that I wasn't. And then I ended up in an orphanage. And it would be at the encouragement of a social worker that would say to my mother who raised me, you need to come and see this little girl. At that time, I was 2 years old and my mother was 45 and she was like, for what? And she said, she was like, why do you want, and she had raised her son. And she was like, for what? She was like, Mary, just come and see her. And my mother said that she finally went and it just took one look. And she said she picked up the phone from the orphanage and called my father and said, we're about to have a little girl. So they became the parents that I needed in life, and I became their little girl. But they became the life, literally, that I would end up having. Everything that I would need in life came through them. And so I just thank God for them. Then when I turned 18, I thought I was grown. You know, they had taught me enough.
We all do.
And so I'm grown. And so I went from Hartford, Connecticut to Beaufort, South Carolina at 18 years old. My parents were so upset because they knew what was out there in the world. I
Right.
didn't.
Right.
And so I will never forget, I took a Greyhound bus to Beaufort, South Carolina, went to a telephone booth, called collect, and said that I had made it safely.
Wow.
And my mother said, you think you so grown?
Right.
You just figured it out. And she hung up the phone. And I stood in that telephone booth for the first time feeling what it was like to be alone. Now, they were only upset for about 5 minutes, but I didn't know that because I was afraid to call back, collect, and find out. But it would be at that moment that I would really understand what these young people that are aging out of foster care are feeling like when they're in the world alone. And I'll never forget standing in there crying, afraid to hang up from everything I knew, everything I had been connected to, everything I could fall back on, everything I could fall forward to. But determination kicked in and everything that I was taught. And then just knowing that I would be successful, I stepped out of that telephone booth with the determination to be successful. And so when I did at 18 years old, I met a Marine because there was a Marine station down there in Beaufort, South Carolina.
Right, Buford.
Yeah. And he said he wanted to get married. You know, he was 19, I was 18. He said he would cherish me the rest of his life. I repeated the same thing back to him. Neither one of us knew anything about being a husband or a wife.
Right.
But pregnant at 19, first baby at 20, second at 22, third at 23, 23 single parent. And but he was abusive and it was horrible. I literally ended up escaping from him. But again, that determination kicked in. So I ended up going back to Connecticut. And when I got back, because I actually went from, let me get this part in because I tell it in the book and people are like, what? And so I went from Beaufort. I had my first baby in Beaufort, my second one in Nashville, Tennessee, my third one in Texas, where he had went into the military. I mean, got stationed down there. And 3 babies in 2.5 years, but then escaping from him and going back to Connecticut, only to find out that my mother was diagnosed shortly after that with Alzheimer's. And it was very new back then. And so we're talking taking care of her. My dad was older at that point as well. And then rocking 3 babies, go to get a job, and the job doesn't pay the babysitter. And so at that point, I realized I needed an education. I needed to go to college, which is what they wanted for me. And so I realized I needed to go to college. And And so again, rocking 3 babies, I went to college, but the creativity that I had always had, God given, and the determination that I always had to be successful, I began to make crafts. And so I would do crafts during the week, go to college during the week, and craft shows on the weekend.
Wow.
My babies were underneath the table while I was conducting business on top of the table.
Wow.
And it was interesting because there's not a lot of Black crafters back then.
Right.
Mhm.
So a lot of people would come up to me and say, "Oh, who are you selling these for?" And I would get frustrated, like, "But you act like I can't make these."
Right,
But and then
right.
also I looked a lot younger. A lot of people thought I was babysitting opposed to those being my kids, right?
Ah.
And so
Okay.
they always thought I was selling. I remember one day this couple came up to the table and said, "Oh, who are you selling these for?" And I said, the Feed the Read
I
Foundation,
know
because I had
that's
to
right.
feed these kids.
All right. All
And
right.
so,
No, that's
so
right.
when they felt like they were, their money started coming across that table. And that's all I cared about was selling. And I
Right.
always made, excellent. Everything I did was in excellence. And so I literally handcrafted my way off of welfare.
Wow.
And
That's
and then
awesome.
took a couple
That's awesome.
jobs just to, do what I needed to do. But literally stepped out on faith in 93 and have never looked back. Started my own business. Well, it was my own business back then, but back then when I started, they wouldn't even deliver goods and materials to your home if you were in a residential area.
Oh, they wouldn't.
So I had to get people at stores and say, could you, can I ship my crafts to you?
Oh, wow.
That kind of thing. And yeah, it was an interesting journey, but determination said, I'm never looking back.
I'm
And
glad you didn't. Wow, look at you now. Oh my goodness.
yes,
And it was God ordained. That's what I mean. And she didn't know that at the time. She knows
Right.
that now.
Right.
But even to
Mhm.
people that going through, listen, and even your trials can, when it said build you and make you strong,
Mm-hmm.
what a journey. And I
Yes.
know, some of that story because we worked together on projects that she's had.
Yeah.
But every time I hear it, I still tear up because I'm like, I know there are people
Yeah.
going through that right now. And when I see young people with children, I'll be like, my God, how do they do it? Because it's so
Right.
tough.
It's so tough.
It's so tough.
And tell us
And
about
what I
your
ultimately
company.
did, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, you could go. I was just gonna say, give us a little background on your company name. Is Homes for Me, right? Is
Home
that
for-
one of them?
For me, it's the home for me.
Home for
Well, let
Me.
me share with you how that all started.
Yes.
And one of the things I want to encourage people with is to make sure you have a circle of encouragement, those that can encourage you on the journey.
Yes.
So I remember now I'm home and I'm going to college and I'm doing crafts on weekends, but it's just me and my kids,
Okay.
so it's just me and them, and like other people going to work and that kind of thing, but it's just me and them. And so just to have that like adult kind of encouragement, I started it. I didn't know what you called it, an organization back then, but I kind of
Right.
started like a group of ladies coming together
Nice.
called WISE, Women in Self-Employment.
Oh
Yeah.
wow, that's
And
nice.
and they would come over to the house because that was, this is in Connecticut. They would come over to the house and we would just talk about some of the things that business, and what it takes to be home and
Right.
and to raise the kids and that kind of thing. Well, interesting enough, most of them were married and they had the time. I had to get my stuff
Right.
done.
Right. Right.
I had to get those things done. And then it seemed like right away, and they were of the other persuasion, and right away, they want to, let's have a president, let's have a vice president. I say, you're missing it. I need encouragement.
Right.
But it turned out I ended up being the one doing the encouraging.
Really?
I would end up always encouraging. They would come with their concerns and their issues, and I'd always be the one, doing the encouragement.
Right.
And so then I realized it needed to be expanded beyond women in self-employment.
Okay.
So I expanded it to other women in standard employment. Then I realized, a lot of these women don't have self-esteem. So then I added the acronym Women Increasing Self-Esteem.
Right.
And the next thing you know, I had 10 acronyms
Right.
that all spelled WISE.
Right.
Is that something?
Wow.
So I ultimately combined them all and said Women Inspiring Sisters Everywhere. So I
Oh.
started that, like we're talking like 40 years ago now.
Okay.
And that would always be an avenue where women could just come together, just talk about what you're doing, and
Right.
somebody in this room can say something to encourage you about someone or
Something,
where to go
yes.
or how to find.
Mhm.
And so when I moved to Charlotte, I continued Wise, but I did it in my home with the people coming over. We'd eat dinner. Everyone would have like 3 minutes.
Okay.
They have a 2 minutes to say what it is, or 1.5 minutes to say what it is they're doing, what they're working on, and what do they need to
Okay.
be successful,
Mm.
or whether it's a project, whatever it is. And then everybody would just chime in, exchange cards and that kind of thing. So I did that for years.
Okay.
And then, and then people would say, can you come speak to this group? Can you come speak to that group?
Mhm.
And so that's where I started the motivational speaking. It was before I moved down here,
Oh,
but it
okay.
really took off when I moved down here, because my thing is, if I can motivate you,
Right.
if I can share what I know, then that's what I want to be able to do, because so many people don't want to share what they know.
Isn't
And I
that
That's
don't
true.
understand that.
Mm-hmm.
I can't
I
understand
can't
that.
It's
understand that
selfish.
either. I don't understand that.
You're called to what you're called to. I'm called to what I called
Right.
to. If
Right.
I can help you on the
Right.
journey, here you are. What do you need to know?
That's right.
That's what people
And-
don't get. You're aligned, and that's what I ask God for.
Mm-hmm.
I don't need all the kids, just the ones that are aligned to me.
That's right.
That's
right.
it.
That's
That's
right.
it.
That's
And
Always
some
to
people do
help
gatekeep, and
somebody.
I'm like, but that's not kingdom. So
Yeah,
thank God He's putting the people around us that are kingdom.
Absolutely.
absolutely.
You ready for some
That
questions?
definitely is a major part of it.
It
So
sure enough
ultimately,
is.
I moved to Charlotte in 1995.
Okay.
And when I got here again, I didn't know anybody. When I moved here,
Oh, you didn't?
I came down 2 days,
Uh-huh.
found my house, went back, packed, moved back
Oh,
down
you
here.
ain't no joke. You
And
sound like me. You not playing around.
no, it's like, hey, I prayed. Lord was like, go.
Right.
I'm out.
Okay.
And so I came down here,
Uh-huh.
and what happened was, now I went from 3 to 4 daughters. So I was watching TV one day,
Uh-huh.
and I see these young kids on here saying, please adopt me. And it had always been my passion, but I really didn't think as a single person
Right.
I could do it.
Right.
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 I thought, well, that time had passed.
Uh-huh.
Right.
And so I'm watching the television. I see these kids go by.
Uh-huh.
Please adopt me. My heart breaks.
I
I'm
know.
like,
know.
what?
Mine
I didn't know
too.
anyone down here. I called the number. It was a national television show. I called the number. They narrowed it down from 150 inquiries about the kids
Mhm.
to 4 families, and I was one of them.
Really?
I started saying, what?
Wow.
Wait,
Wow.
what?
Okay. Yeah.
And what threw me off is I have all girls. And what
Right.
threw me off was it was 2 girls and a boy.
Whoa. You
And I
got
was
used to
like,
that.
Lord, where am I going to put him?
Right. Right.
But I'm going to put him.
Right.
So I went through the foster and adoption process. I got licensed and everything. But my prayer the whole time was that they went to a 2-parent home. And that's what happened. And then I was like, okay, God, what was that all about?
Right.
Shortly after that, one of my daughters came home,
Uh-huh.
and she was in tears because her friend had to go to a group home because she was one of 6,
Uh-huh.
and they couldn't stay where they were anymore. Her mother couldn't take care of them anymore. So they were going to put her in the group home because she was the oldest. I said, no.
Oof.
My home is
Right.
licensed for adoption and foster. I said,
Okay.
I'd rather her come and stay with me.
Wow.
At that point, I had become a guardian ad litem. That's one who becomes a voice for children that are in the system.
Wow.
And so they recognized my name
Uh-huh.
and cut all the red tape, and she came to me and she became my young.
Get out of here. Look
Well,
at God.
Look at God. Well, the
up.
amazing thing is, God had given me a vision for my girls. It was the designing tote bags,
Okay.
2 little
Oh.
stick figures on the front of a tote bag.
Uh-huh.
And so the girls named them tea bags because all my girls' names begin with T,
Tea.
and they started with
Whoa,
bags.
okay. They
Yeah.
all that's why you named
So
it
they
that.
called them tea bags.
Okay.
And so, as God would have it, this young lady's name began with T. And
No
so,
way.
yes.
You can't even
And
make
because
this up.
She even had the same initials as my girl. All my girls had the same initials. She had the same initials.
Wow.
That would be God.
Yeah.
The
That would be.
interesting thing is I was having a cookout. I had only been here a short period of time. Nobody knew how many kids I had.
Right.
And so I was having a cookout because I would do that kind of thing just to get to know people. And she came in the house. She said, "Mother, people don't know how much." I said, "No, they don't need to know." I said, "Plus, you got my nose. You don't even have to worry about it. You look just like me."
Right. Oh, wow. Really?
Again,
She
how
looked just
God
like
would-
you, huh?
That's how God would design it. And so,
Okay.
so then again, tea bags, because I had all girls and I'm a single mom, and my thought process was, instead of the world having more influence on them than me, whatever they did it at the house. The boys want to come knocking, knock on this door. And I would
Okay.
pull them in.
Okay.
Then I would ask them those questions. So, where's your parents? And
Right.
what do you want to be? What do you
Right,
want to
right.
do? And,
Right.
and I would always say to my girls, listen to the answers, because that's what you brought home.
Right.
Okay.
That's what you brought.
Right.
Then I would say things like, could you take this trash out for me? Could
See
you
the
grab that
response.
box over there and move it?
Uh-huh.
My whole thing was, see where they're coming from.
That's right.
Right.
That's right. See the
Right?
response.
But I would always say, what do you want to be? Is there anything I could do to help you get there? And out of that, and wanting to be that main influence in their lives, we started Tea Bags, Teach Boys and Girls Success.
Wow. So
And
this
started
is your
doing
second
summer.
business at that time? This is your second one, right? Or the first? The first business.
First what?
Business that you started. Because I know you started the women.
No, that's the second one.
That's the second one, right? Okay. Okay. Go ahead. No, we listening.
Yes.
Well, the girls had theirs too, and now this is another one.
This is another
Yes.
one, right? Okay.
So, yes. So
Okay.
I had my business, but then my thought was, these girls want to eat every day. They
Right,
want clothes all the time. Y'all can do this.
I
So
know
the
that's
vision
right.
of Tea Bags was, and the two little stick figures, that was for the girls, right?
Okay.
But then the summer camp said, hey, there's really no summer camps for 12, 13, 14-year-olds.
Right.
So we started an entrepreneurial summer camp, Teach Boys and Girls Success. Throughout the summer, the kids would have to write a business plan. We would take them on trips around the city. We would find everything free that we could go to. We averaged about 20 kids, and it was just phenomenal.
Let me
But
tell you
my
something
passion
funny
for-
about that. Just real quick
Not
in your
funny, but
story. I
definitely
woke
God,
up this
yep.
morning, told my husband about 6:30 this morning. I said, I just had this dream. I woke up in the middle of the night and I was thinking of stuff, but I think it was a dream. But when I woke up, this is what I thought. We're doing a modeling camp in the summer for our nonprofit, but I said to him, but what I really want to do is an entrepreneur camp for the kids, maybe in the beginning, at the first half of the day, and then we do the model in the second half, because I was trying to figure it out. And for you to say that is just like confirmation of what I just said about 10 hours ago to my husband, the entrepreneur part in the beginning of it. It's just
You have
amazing
to.
that you said that.
Amen. That's
Yeah,
right.
you have to. You know why?
Wow.
It's the principles of entrepreneurship you want
Right.
to teach them.
Exactly right.
You have to.
Right.
All our young people need to know the principles. What does it
Absolutely.
cost me to do this? Count the
Right. Yep.
cost.
Absolutely.
How do I get it done?
Yeah.
What will I charge for it?
Right.
Right.
And that type of thing, right? But it doesn't mean they have to start a business. It means they
Right.
need to know how
Principles,
to
right.
take their gifts, their talents, their skills,
Right.
Yeah.
and how to put it on a road to financial success.
Absolutely.
It is
Absolutely.
major.
It's
It is major.
necessary.
And I'll share with you what we do with our young people. And matter of fact, like I said, I don't mind sharing
Right.
so that you
Absolutely.
can do it.
Right.
So
And we
that,
all in the
the
same
kids-
thing.
Yes.
Because I'm doing the same thing.
Absolutely.
God
With the
taught me to
kids.
create the genius grid, and then based on their multiple intelligences, we teach you how to run create a business or a
Right.
community project. Because we know a lot
That's
of
what we
students, they
do.
want to do things in community too.
That's
They're
right.
social entrepreneurs already.
That's
That's
They
it.
need the path or how to
right.
do a skill. And again, there's so many youth out there.
Yeah.
So many
Done these
of them.
camps. I brought kids to camps. I've been to different things. I mean, there's so
Yeah.
many children.
A
Absolutely.
product or a project
Yeah.
connected to what you're trying to teach them.
That's exactly
it.
right. That's
And
exactly
then,
right.
yeah, then they're doing what they want to do,
That's
Right.
but you are teaching them what needs to be done.
And the other great thing about that is because schools right now, all we're focusing on is the deficit. We're not focusing on their strengths, and kids are worn out.
Yes, I can imagine.
And they're rebelling, and people, I'm like, because we're not dealing with their strengths. But when
That's
we
right.
do, they're like so excited. Like, I'm a media coordinator now, but I'm retiring this year. And kids come in, you know, because they know I'm about teaching them business, and they come with all kinds of ideas. And I'm like third grade, fourth grade. I'm like, because
Right.
God gave them
That's
to them
right.
their gifts
We
and talents
have
at birth.
the most creative kids in
We
the
do.
world.
Yes,
I believe it.
do.
We do.
Yes, we do.
And
Yes, we do.
I'm going to just share this with you. We never say no to what they are wanting to do.
That's right.
Never say no. But then you ask them on the journey, is this going to take you to where you want to go?
That's
Yeah.
right.
I'll give you an
That's
example.
right.
Back 25 years ago when we started the camps, right? We would always say, hey, what do you want to do? The biggest thing the kids would say, basketball, football, or a rapper.
Yeah, that's it.
And
That
I
was
would
For the
say,
boys, yep.
fantastic. I would say, fantastic.
Right.
We're going to help you get there.
Right.
Right? Now, watch this.
Because they
So
young,
I
you
would
can
say,
influence
so
them.
what, you know, like what makes you want to do that? And I'm going to tell you, a young person is really going to go only to what they've seen.
Right.
Or what
That's
they
exactly
think they can reach.
That's right.
Right? Like the ones that want to be movie stars and rappers, they're only seeing what's in front of the camera. The most of the money is made behind the camera.
That's exactly right.
Not
That's
in front of the
exactly
camera.
right.
That's right.
Right? You want to be a model. That's fantastic. The money's behind the camera.
The business end of
Behind
it.
the
They
camera.
got to know the business end.
They got to know the business end. And so then when we would go to take a break, I'd say, hey, all y'all, because the majority of the boys, basketball, football. Hey, you raise your hand if you said you want to do basketball or football. The hands would go up. Now we talking some hot summer days.
Right.
And I'd say, great. I would pull out a football and a basketball and say, get outside and start practicing. But it's our break. I said, no.
That's right.
You told me this is what you want to do. Get started.
That's right.
Get started
That's
on it
right.
right now. But I'm going to give you a couple of examples of what some of the kids wanted to do and how we just, and not only encouraged it, how fantastic the final product was, right?
Okay.
So we had one young lady said, yeah, well, I just like writing poems. And I said, oh, okay, because I used to write poems a lot.
Yeah, you did.
Right.
So her friend said, yeah, me too. And I say, okay, the two of you? And the two of us. Third little girl, well, yeah, I kind of like it too. And I'd say, okay, y'all know each other? Because, I knew they did. I know each other? And they were like, yeah. And I'd say, okay, then the three of y'all can come together. But let me ask you first, what are you going to do with your poems? I'll put it in a book. I said, fantastic.
Right. I'm like,
let me ask you this. How are you going to get the book out? I mean, is it going to just sit on a shelf in Barnes and Noble?
Right. Marketing.
And I said, then I asked the craziest question in the world. This is even years and years ago. Any of y'all know Beyonce? Yeah, Ms. Don, we know Beyonce.
Right.
I said, what do you think she's singing? She's singing a poem.
Right.
These singers are singing poems.
Right.
I said, your poems can go in greeting cards. They can go on keychains. They can go in T-shirts. Have you ever heard of footprints? And they would say, footprints?
Right.
Yeah. The poem that, do you know what these kids wrote their business plan on?
What?
To do spoken word in a cafe and sell the art and match it with poems. That's what they wrote their business plan on.
I'm telling you, like you said, never say no, but inquiry is like
you never say no,
right.
but you shift it.
You gotta
Yeah,
Let me
you
give
have
you
to
another
shift
example.
it for the kids. You definitely have to shift it because you don't want to
But
tell them what they want to be, but let them know what they want to be, and then shift it to always. I always say they got to know the business end. They
and they don't
always
You
even
have to
got
know
to
know.
though.
know.
Yeah,
They
they
don't even
don't
know you
know they
shifting.
need
You
to know,
just
but they need to know the business end of anything
I
that you're
love it.
doing. There has to be business behind it to get paid. Because, like I always say, I love doing stuff, but I want to get paid for it eventually.
Right.
Eventually, maybe not right away, but eventually.
I love
Exactly.
it. I
And the
love it.
other part would be with the sports thing. I would make them do the research on the famous sports people. And then I would say, what are you going to do with the money if you make it? What are
Okay.
you going to do with the money? What's your fallback plan?
Right.
That's what I want you to write your business plan on. Because it's a short period, it's a short span of being in sports.
That's right.
Even if you decide that's not even what you want to do later, you got your fallback
You have
plan.
your
That's
fallback
right.
We
plan,
had
that's
one
right.
young man who said he was a class clown. Oh, he was always making the kids joke. But I caught on real early, and that you're really, because you don't know for sure how approach this. You're hiding behind the laugh.
See?
But so what I said to him one day in front of everybody, I said, "I'm gonna tell you something, sweetheart. I think you are funny as it comes, but
Okay.
your funny has to be in the right spot." I
Okay.
said, "So interrupting what we're doing is not funny.
Right.
But
Right.
since you're
That's not
so funny, I want you to do a whole
See?
right, and then we're going to give you the time to do it." He goes, "No, I don't want to do that." I said, "Then what do you want to do?
Right. What
What do you want to do? I mean,
Yeah.
you stop every 5 minutes making somebody laugh.
Right.
What do you want to do? We're going to give you a whole time to put your whole act together and do it." I don't want to do that. Do you know what it turned out this young man
I
wanted to
was
be?
going to say,
A
what do you want to
doctor.
do?
A
He wanted to be a
doctor.
doctor, but he couldn't see it.
Right.
So he
Right.
was hiding behind laughter, disrupting the
Right,
class,
right,
and that
right.
kind of thing.
Wow.
But you know what his backup plan was?
What?
A bicycle shop.
Oh,
He said, "I
Wow.
always want to own a bicycle shop." Now, we could have
nice.
never pulled that out of him
No,
if we let
right.
him keep being the
If you
class
hadn't
clown.
confronted
Right,
him, that's right.
absolutely.
That's right.
But we
You
have
I
see,
love
we
it.
had to
And
let
then
him.
and having the discernment to do that like you did. Because there's so many times when I look at teachers, I'm like, what a missed opportunity. Like they said or showed some things. Because I did the same thing with the kid once. Like, yeah, he gonna rap. All right. I paid for 30 minutes studio time. Let's go.
Let's go. Let's go do it.
All
Let's
of a
do
sudden
it.
now, but you want to disrupt, but no, you don't want to do that now. So let me give you the multiple assessment. Let me see what your genius really is. Let's see what you
That's
really
it.
said.
That's it.
So good for all of us. Woo!
I have
Yes,
a couple
I'm
of
telling you.
Kids, 'cause
questions to
they
ask
need
you
this.
about the foster care.
Yes.
I
right
know we
ahead.
got so tied up into this. I said I had a couple
But I
of
love it.
questions. As a former foster youth, what's something people completely misunderstand about that experience?
Okay. Phew, what a great question. So I had the most wonderful experience any person could have. I never looked at like, oh, I'm in foster care. I always knew, but I never looked at. However, if you see the color of my hair, you know that was a long time ago. Less is being done now for our
What?
kids than it was back then. You know why?
Why?
Because back then, family took care of family.
Right.
Nowadays,
Okay.
our kids are aging out of foster care without anyone, without family,
Right.
without anything. And they age out on their 18th birthday.
Okay.
So what are people missing?
Yes.
It's the lack of knowledge. People do not know what's happening. It's the awareness. So I literally am very passionate about raising awareness to what's happening with our kids in the system
Okay.
and when they age out of the system. So just to give you that shift,
Yeah.
Teach Boys and Girls Success focused on the young people, the teenagers. But then when my girls got to a certain age, I thought that passion for foster care it was just coming back so strong. It was always there.
Okay.
And then one day I said, wait a minute. We were doing a conference, the National Family Empowerment Conference, which I'm the visionary of.
Okay.
And it brings together resources and organizations that empower and impact the family with teens. So in 2016, I said, we're going to focus on foster teens. And we did. We had about 120 young people there.
Wow.
We displayed their skills,
Yeah.
their talents. I mean, I could go on and on about it. However, when we were debriefing that conference, which was phenomenal,
Okay.
we were sitting around the table, and then they were looking at me. They were like, Donna, what's the matter? And I said, but now what?
You're right.
They were like,
Well, now
well,
what?
what do you mean? What's the matter? And I said, but now what? I said, we just had a great summer camp, a fantastic conference,
Right.
but these kids are aging out of foster care.
Right.
And they were like, well, what happens? I said, exactly.
That
That's
Right.
the truth. People don't know what's happening.
right.
So here we go.
Okay.
84% of teens in foster care desire to attend college. Less than 3% enroll, less than 1% graduate. Why? Due to lack of funding, housing, guidance, and support.
Wow.
They don't have it. They're aging out of foster care on their 18th birthday.
Really?
Their resources come to an end.
Wow.
40% within the first year of aging out will experience homelessness. 70% of our girls will be pregnant by age 21. Hello.
Wow.
And 60% of our boys will touch the criminal justice system in one form or fashion, not because they're criminals, but for survival.
Survival.
Wow.
Survival.
Wow.
So what's happening? People don't know what's happening. They don't know what they're going through while they're in the system. Here, let me give you some more. 13 to 15, they pretty much know they're not going to be adopted. Chances are slim.
Really?
16, the weight of the world begins to weigh on them because they have to start making adult decisions with little to no knowledge.
Right. Right.
17 years old, they have 364 more days. Their resources
They're
come to an
gone.
end. So if we think for 1 second they're focused on college and all the good stuff,
Right.
no,
They're not.
we couldn't wait till we were 18 to think we were grown. These
Right.
kids see 18, they are homeless, hopeless, or still some kind of way connected to a system that's not connected to them. It's sad,
Wow.
but there are solutions. So if we know that 84% want to go to college, and we know the reason that they are not even enrolling is because the guidance on the journey, because of the fact that if they do go to college, what happens after the first semester? Where do they go when the dorms close?
That's what I was going
Who's making sure they're somewhere for Thanksgiving and Christmas?
That was another question.
They have no.
Right. Right.
Well, that's where we come in.
Okay.
Not only are we making sure that they are 100% good, we're making sure they have everything they need. Let me say this because I know probably time is short.
Wow.
Our kids, when they are shifted from place to place, the average time is minimal 6. So that means
my
they're at
God.
your house. All of a sudden, they come and get them. They move them to the next house. Then they move them to the next house. The kids don't even know why. But what happens is they show up with a black garbage bag and say,
Right.
pack your stuff.
Right.
You can look it up. Pack your stuff.
Wow.
So one thing we do is make sure they all have brand new suitcases.
Yep. I
So
love
if
that.
anybody's listening to this and you want to support, you
Yes.
look up homeforme.org and go on there and see what we do.
Okay.
The other thing is when they do go to a place, we don't know what it's going to look like. We
Right.
don't know what they have there.
Wow.
We have no idea because
Right.
here's another myth. Here's another myth fact that a lot of people are unaware. They are given the they have to move, but they're not going to a foster home.
Right.
Where they
The
going?
majority of our teens are in a facility or a group home. They're not in a home with a parent or a 2-parent. They're in a facility or they're in a group home. So we don't know what that's going to look like,
Right.
but we know it's not going to look like home.
Right.
So we make sure they all have a bed in a bag, all the bedding, and they can take that with them when they go.
I
That's
love when you
awesome.
did that.
Yeah,
I
that's
was like
awesome.
blown away when you did that. I was just so happy.
Yeah, that's
One
really
of our
Yeah.
moms should have just said, wow. Like,
That's really
because if that's
awesome.
not your experience, you don't even think about
You
it.
don't
But
even think about
again,
it.
You don't think about it.
Especially
don't,
like in
but-
college, you're saying they go home for the
Right.
for the
That's right.
the break. I'm not even thinking, well, where would they go home to?
Where
The
they
Where they
break
go.
home is
That's
there.
right.
So wow.
Because we think they're connected
Wow.
to someone.
Yeah,
and they're
we're
not.
thinking they're connected to someone somewhere, but like she's saying, they're not. So that's where Home for Me comes in at, where they can take that pivot to your organization and then they go back to college. Is that how that works?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. So what we do is we become family. So they don't even know we're an organization. They asked one of our young guys. They said, "Well, what does Home for Me do?" He said, "I don't know."
No, wow. Wow.
I
Because they
just know
call
what
me
you
grandma.
see.
Most of them call me
Listen,
grandma. We even
listen.
have a grandma team. And what
Okay,
grandma
you better put me
means,
on that team for real.
yes,
You
it's
know I'm
called
coming back
grandmas.
because that 2016 I was there. We worked that,
Oh,
and it was
yes.
phenomenal to see. It was phenomenal,
Yes.
absolutely phenomenal.
So it's called Grandma's Place. And
Okay,
place stands for
Wow.
peace, loving, always kind, caring, and encouraging. It's
I
that
love
place in
it.
our heart if we can't adopt you into our home.
right.
And so the grandmas, we make sure them babies have what they need. And
Okay,
every senior needs to be a grandma. They need.
okay, okay.
So
I don't care how many grandkids you have, you can always have one more.
is this
That's
And if you don't
outside
have
of
anyone,
is this outside of the homes for the homes?
no, this is us.
Oh,
That's
this is
them.
the whole
Every
That's another
organization.
part of her
Okay, I just want
program.
to be clear. Okay. So
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
another
So
part of the
home,
program.
no, home stands for hope, opportunity, mentoring, and education.
Oh,
We get with them.
acronyms. Okay.
See,
Okay.
Yes. We get with our young people while they are teens, or even if they've aged out,
Mm-hmm.
right, and want to go to college, because
Okay.
a lot of times, again, they may not be encouraged to go to college. Let me
right.
give you another a thing that I want people to really understand.
Yes, please.
If our young people are teenagers or young people that are in the system, many of them have siblings that are in the system. They're
Too.
worried
Right.
about them. So
Really?
they're not focused on themselves. They're
Right.
thinking, what's happening to them? If we're not in the same home, what's happening to them? If I'm aging out and they're still in there, what's going to happen to them? So college may not be their focus because they haven't included that into their own dreams. They're worried about survival and their siblings.
So
Mhm.
let
But
me ask you that. Oh, okay. I was going to say, do they
no,
go
go
back
ahead,
and
go ahead.
do they go back and try to? Okay, now that they're 18, they're an adult, they can get a job. Do they then try to go back and take care of the younger ones, like get them out of the system and maybe take custody of them, or you can't do that? I don't. How does that work?
Well, let me just say this. If you're 18 and you try to make it on your own,
Yeah.
You can't
and
take
this
care of
time
anybody.
in action, but we keep them connected. Our goal is to keep them connected.
Okay.
But now watch this. I'm glad you said that.
Yes.
And I wrote a book called Life is a Puzzle Until You Find the Missing Pieces, right? Because I did a search for my biological parents only because my mother, who raised me, insisted. She wanted that so bad. I never had the desire.
Okay.
She always said, Donna, I don't ever want you to resent her.
Right.
She could have aborted you. She could have threw you in the trash can.
But she
But
didn't.
I always want you to honor the fact that she gave birth to you and we were blessed by you.
That's
That's
right.
wonderful. That's kind, but I never
That's
had the
awesome.
desire.
That's awesome.
But when
Mhm.
my mother got diagnosed with Alzheimer, I thought, what is something that this woman would want? You know, that she hasn't done because she had done everything in the world. And that was what it was. So I went and searched and I found that's a whole different story. But I say that to say that the blessing in what I did and how God sent me my prayer that I forgot I answered, which is my youngest, right? I got my youngest, she was 15. Her three youngest siblings, 3, 4, and 5, went to a home and were adopted.
Okay.
I stayed in touch with them because that was her biggest worry. I stayed in touch with them.
You are awesome.
Fast forward 10 years. She's 25 years old. She's married. She has a child.
Wow.
And those three are now 13, 14, and 15. Their parents split up and neither one of them wanted the kids.
Whoa.
They didn't want the kid.
They didn't want them.
people do
They
that.
had adopted them.
Right,
My daughter and I
Wow.
went to court and my daughter won custody of them. And she finished raising them.
All
Well,
right.
all right.
That's what support will do for you.
Yes, it
And
will.
Donna is informed. You know, she has the certification. She knows what's going on. Yeah, we got to do better. We got, and we
We've
can.
got to do
But
better.
I love it because timing is everything. And now that you're here again,
Right.
and this forum, and we can let people know. But even what I know, we got, it's no coincidence. I definitely got to get back with you. And there's other people that need to know.
So
And they
we
would.
have coming up May 30th, the Old School Family Cookout.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Share the love with our teens in foster care.
Wow.
And what
this
it
is in
does
North
is
Carolina?
you don't. It's in
Yes.
Charlotte, North
And
Carolina.
she's giving us
Charlotte.
permission to have minded business that
Oh,
pays you there.
yes. All right.
Yes,
Okay.
y'all
Thank
come on, do
you.
some
Yeah,
interviewing
yeah,
out there.
You. That's,
yeah.
that's
Absolutely.
awesome. Wow.
So I say that to say this.
Mm-hmm.
Everything we do is family centered. Everything.
That's beautiful.
So these kids don't feel like I'm still in the system somewhere. They
Right,
feel like
right.
God gave me a family to
Wow.
guide me through college, to guide me beyond. If you go to our website, you'll see our leg up on life. Leg stands for leadership, entrepreneurship, grandma's place. Life stands for living skills, innovative choices, financial literacy, educational path.
I
I
love
love
them
make sure they stay
acronyms.
on the
She
path.
always have acronyms. I love it, love it, love it.
Listen.
They know me as
Wow.
that.
Our
A lot of
time
people.
is running short, but oh my goodness,
Okay.
like
We
this
still
is
got 6
so
minutes. 6
interesting.
minutes.
Yeah, we have some more questions, but we gotta do a CO checkout and in the show, and all kind of things that's going on.
Well, you ask your
Rochelle,
questions.
you
You
have a
can get 2
question?
questions in that I
Go
know.
ahead.
So
Okay.
you go ahead.
No, I asked some already. You have one? Or I mean, I have a whole bunch here, but okay, I'll ask one then, Rochelle. Was there ever a moment you felt like quitting? And if you did feel like quitting, what pulled you back in to say, no, I'm going to stick this out and continue with this organization?
So, you know, when people ever say, introduce yourself and use that first letter of your name and say, describe yourself, mine has always from day one been determination. I've always been determined
All right.
because I know success is in our DNA.
Yes.
And that's what I share with our young people. And so, yes, when I first stepped out from the job after, starting the business and everything like that, and I had this job and I stepped off that job,
Right.
and my determination to be successful, whenever I had a low moment, because I was creative, God just given us creativity, everything, I would get in my car and drive by that building and say, you want to be in there or you want to be out here?
Woo!
And I'm telling you right now, more creativity would kick in, determination would kick
I
in.
know it would.
I want to say these two things. I want to say these two things to anyone working on anything, wanting to accomplish anything. Our young people, our seniors, because everything we do is intergenerational.
Right.
So
That's
we
right.
have seniors, everything we do, everything. Here's what I'm going to say. When you walk up to your door to go to put your key in your house, if the first key you try doesn't work, you don't leave and walk away and say,
right.
this is not my house.
Right.
You go to the key that works
That's right.
until you go in your door.
That's
All
right.
right.
So
That's
that
right.
is, you are the key to your success. When you
Right.
get somewhere and that first key doesn't work,
That's right.
you keep going until you get it. My mother
Right.
always taught me this. Always look a person in their eye.
That's right.
Ask for what you want. If they say no, ask why, and then move on to your yes.
That's right. That's right.
Don't ever stop until you get and accomplish what you set out to do. And of course, I think all of our parents taught us
Yes.
you can do anything
They
you
sure
set your
did.
mind
That's
to.
right.
Well, we got 3 minutes, and I
Wow,
know you
you
want the
are
CEO check-in,
a
but I just want to
phenomenal.
ask one thing. For anybody that's listening who feel called to help but don't know where to start, give us 2 practical ways that they can support youth transitioning out of foster care. 2
Okay,
things they
so
can do.
contact us because again, you're not going to be able to just walk up to a young person.
Right.
Right.
We know the
Right.
system,
Right.
we have the young people. So contact us, homeforme.org. It's the number 4, home, number 4, me.org. You can reach me at Donna Lee Reed at homeforme.org to get involved. The first thing you do is know that you can do something. Everybody can do something.
Right.
You can donate, you can get involved, you can get involved wherever you live.
That's
We
right.
are more than one state, we are more than one city. You can get involved. We want no young person to be out here thinking
That's
that
right.
there's not a way that they can accomplish what they want to accomplish.
A mindset
Especially
just
for
said
college.
super, so I know they're going to be involved.
Absolutely.
I know they are. And they're in
And-
Charlotte, too.
And then we have
Yes.
to do our. Were you finished?
Make a
Donna?
donation too,
Okay.
because our young people are out here. If they don't have
That's right.
resources and that type of thing, we get those resources to them. So donations
All
and
right.
sponsorships are needed.
Absolutely.
Great.
Now we have
All
to do
right.
our CEO checkout. So I don't know if Rochelle told you about our CEO checkout, but our
Yeah,
CEO
I
checkout
did. She
is
remember.
as a CEO, I'm still learning blank and I'm unlearning blank.
That's for me?
Yes,
Yes, ma'am.
that's our
Oh,
CEO
absolutely.
checkout.
Okay. I am learning that not everyone is in your corner. Some
Okay.
people will want to take what you have, but what God has for you is for you. Don't let that stop you.
All right.
Because what God always has one more move
There you
when the
go.
enemy tries to come in and trip you up.
That's right.
And don't ever stop. Because if he's called you to it, he's going to take
bring
you
you
through
through
it
it. That's
till
right.
you do it.
All
All
right.
right.
And what
Amen.
and what are you unlearning? What's something you're still unlearning?
What am I unlearning?
Yes,
Oh,
as
Lord.
the CEO.
Okay. So I have to be careful about trusting people. I've had a lot of people take what, what they see us doing and accomplishing. And that's when he's had to really teach me that, be careful sometimes because not everybody's in your corner. Not everybody. Some people are going to come in, but be, discern. Just use the discern. Pray every single day.
Amen.
That's right.
So I've
Amen.
had to unlearn trusting everybody because I
Okay.
promised you I would. But I don't
Me
want
too.
to discourage anybody because some people think, well, I can't tell them. Yes, you can, because
Right.
God's going to send you to the right people.
Right.
Amen.
Just like I'm going to tell you about the summer camp and some of the things to do.
Right.
I would say to young people, I would say to everybody, dream it, design it, know that you deserve it.
Right.
Don't doubt it, and then do it. Because that's the biggest step we miss, doing it.
That's
People
right.
say, I'm waiting on God, but he's waiting on you.
He waiting on you.
You
Right.
got to order your
Right.
steps.
Right.
Take
Well,
them.
Mindsetters, Donna, you have been an awesome guest. If you didn't hear her, she did give her information. You can go back and listen to our video and you can hear the information on how to reach Donna and her fabulous organization, Home for Me. Mindsetters, if this conversation aligns with you and your business mindset, make sure you go back and subscribe to our channel. The link is in the description. And always remember, never be too busy to mind the business
Mind the
that
business
pays
that
you.
pays you.
Good night.
Amen.
Thank you again.
Good night, my friend.
Wait, I have to go find our music. Okay. Good night.
Good night.
Mind the business that pays you.
Nice.
I'm going to call you in a minute.
Yeah. Our people walk in power, we gon' glow up. No fear, no doubt, we gon' show up. Set your